Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming. Without further ado, we will start into this webinar today. So thank you for joining. Today it's about software-defined manufacturing, and it's actually the second part. So for those who missed the first one, it's as well on demand available. It's our CXO session. It was together with our CEO, Peter Sovka and Walter Heiber from MHP, where they discussed as well the importance of software-defined manufacturing in the industry and why we're using it. And mainly in the first session, for those who missed it, we touched as well on the basic principles of software-defined manufacturing. So really why they are important, for example, starting with scalability of the software systems, which we then apply to manufacturing, as well as other principles like decoupling of the systems. But today, maybe we are here with two other people. So I want to first introduce them real quick. We have from our side, Veit from Cybus, our customer success manager. Veit, do you want to say a few words about yourself as well?
Of course. My name is Veit. I work as a customer success manager at Cybus, I think now like 2.5 years. And I dealing with a lot of projects, funnily, with MHP, I think, close together since 2 years. So I'm very happy, in fact, to share this session about software-defined manufacturing, especially with Ronny.
And then I would say over to you, Ronny, from our partner MHP.
Thank you. I'm also very happy being here with you, Danny. It's a great pleasure for me. Since 4 years, I'm at MHP now. From the bottom of my heart, I'm an engineer, more special in automotive electronics engineer, and so for 12 years in my career, the shop floor and test labs of tier 1 and tier 2 suppliers were, let's say, my home. And since around about 10 years, I'm dealing also here at MHP with a team with hybrid IIoT architectures, data models, digital twin scenarios for enabling such North Star principles like the software-defined manufacturing we all want to talk about today.
I'm very happy that both of you took the time to participate here because especially we think, I don't know how many, but we have a couple of projects already which we delivered together with customers, different customers from the enterprise manufacturing the sector. And some of them as well as seen are here as well and joined. So hello there as well, special welcome. And yeah, maybe when starting into this topic, first I would like with you to shape what is your understanding when we talk about software-defined manufacturing, just so we can make sure we talk about the same thing. And maybe Ronny, as you just said, you have like lots of experience in this field. What is your understanding of software-defined manufacturing?
Yeah, perhaps software-defined manufacturing on the one hand side, but also on the other hand side, software-defined factory, is from my perspective in planning, configuring, monitoring and controlling the factory and machines processes by centrally managed software. This is an overview and a definition of the software-defined manufacturing from my perspective, but there are also core principles. Core principles like the all-known IIoT, and the connectivity. This means that first of all, for doing this stuff, you need an baseline. The second thing is the virtualization. The virtualization in the IT environment by now is given, but the more you go closer to machines, it becomes more and more individual software programs where only some guys know how it runs, many business logic in the controllers and so on. But the virtualization is also one design principle. Then, from my perspective, I would use a buzzword a little bit. So the thing, everything as service. But what does it mean? It means that you have the software or centrally managed and delivered. centrally or from cloud and so on, yeah, with the standard IoT toolboxes that are state of the art. And last but not least, also the software defined, everything. Let's say, it means that you say on the one hand side, the hardware, the machines have capabilities, methods, and knowledge. Yeah, they know how to weld, they know how to press things, to grind, and so on. Yeah. But to go away from the today's, let's say, much process logic that is also in the machines, yeah, to take it out of the machines and make it centralized, managed, modularize it. And that's, from my perspective, the core design principles of manufacturing.
Thank you very much, Lee. Maybe Fight, over to you. We had now I would say, a very good as well, like very technical definition here. What is your experience? I know that you have like several of lots of projects here at Cybus, which you are responsible for as well. How often do you encounter those principles which Ronnie just sketched out at customers? Is it more everyone does it, or is it more like an exception?
Quite often, to be honest. And in fact, I think Ronnie just already speak the most important things. It's you cannot really see software-defined manufacturing just like basic like the software. In fact, it's not just like another tool or something like this what you use. It's more like the whole architecture behind, in fact, is just setting up everything like architecture where the systems are decoupled and interfaces are standardized, and which just give the capability, in fact, because especially I have different projects, in fact, with different companies or different clients. So in fact, some of them are like greenfield projects, which are just built up directly from the scratch with modern state-of-the-art, just a shop floor. So in fact, you have a lot of standard communication, but in fact, there are a lot of companies still running older machines or something like this. So in fact, for me, it's just this kind of architecture for just combine and connect all these different machines.
So you touched on the architecture on the greenfield side as well. So I understand when we talk about greenfield projects, right? Probably at the very beginning is when so software-defined manufacturing principles will be introduced, right? I assume at the very, very beginning. But do you have an understanding, and Ronnie, you as well, maybe like when we talk about brownfields, can you give me an understanding of when and where do you typically encounter software-defined manufacturing? So when does it enter at the customer conversation? Is the very beginning when we start talking about the very first project, about the rough sketch out and the architecture, or is it more down when we're talking about the actual implementations, where then we say, okay, let's now do let's build it modular, let's have it centrally managed, and so on. Can you walk us through this based on your experience, Ronnie?
Yes. Yeah. The question that I think that you don't want to hear is, it depends on, yeah. In some customers, yeah, we are on the first steps, yeah. The customer goes with the, let's say, the North Star software-defined manufacturing, yeah, building up and data level, data modeling, yeah, connectivity, and so on, yeah. But it also happens that we come into the project where the architectures are, let's say, finalized, yeah, and where we are only the implementing partner. But the better one would be to have us with our experience from the first step on inside, yeah, because there are many pitfalls, yeah, that you see and you have, and with our experience over the last, let's say, really 10-15 years dealing with that, yeah, and also developing this topic, yeah, to the North Star. I think it's better to be yeah, at the first phase inside the projects.
Can you make it very concrete? So it can be anonymous. When in those projects we're talking about, what was the goal of those projects? And maybe also what was the initial situation when MHP and Cybus were hired?
So the goal, yeah, when you see, let's say, the steps where we come in at a very early phase, is really, to be honest, is greenfield. Yeah, and there was or is the North Star of an digital twin, yeah, of the fabric on the one hand side, yeah. On the other hand side, also do as much as software defined and decoupling from the real production process, from the methods of production, yeah, to have an free possibility to orchestrate your whole production, yeah, your whole production process. And so yeah, we come on an early phase inside, and we have also the design principles, for instance, cloud only or cloud first approach, yeah, and data modeling. This is also a really important thing, yeah, because even if you think a step forward regarding AI and so on, yeah, they are also standardized, and data is really necessary on this cases.
You were like, we were hired by the customer to build a digital twin based on software-defined manufacturing principles.
Yeah, on the one hand side, we built the base at first, yeah. So the infrastructure to have the data flow on the one hand side, and on the other hand side also to do the data modeling, yeah. And these are two steps. They are one come one to the other, and both are really necessary to do them.
To just show the importance, I want to add something for Ronnie, because we're working on 2 different projects, for example, both in the battery industry. And in fact, one project on, I think we can name it. It's V4 Smart. So actually, as MHP was involved directly at the beginning. So in fact, they had chance, like referring to the last webinar we had here with a unified namespace. And so in fact, they can just build up all the architecture together with the customer. So in fact, it was, I think, quite nice for them and make everything more easy. Another customer project we're working together with, we cannot name it, but also it's in the battery area. So in fact, we also work very close with MHP together, but MHP wasn't involved from the beginning in the project. It was another system integrator, in fact. So I see a lot of, I would not call it problems, but more a little bit difficulties or something like this, because if anybody has set up architecture or this kind of setting at the beginning different than what you might want to do based on your experience with, especially with Connectware or with all this architecture setups, then it could just bring a little bit more trouble maybe, or more difficulties just on everybody's side. It's just need more close communicate in the end, and just figure out to just make things right again for just feeding. So it's easier, like what Ronnie said, from the beginning on, being involved from both parts, from the integrator and from us, to just together build up an infrastructure which will hold the need of the customer.
Yes, a lot of refinement sessions were needed, yeah, to adjust the also architecture decisions and so on, yeah. And if we come earlier in the project, then it makes it a lot easier. But we do not come, open our IoT toolbox and say, hey, one part software-defined manufacturing, yeah. It is a journey together with our customers, yeah, starting with the basics, yeah, then have the first low-hanging fruits, yeah, that you also have data transparency, yeah, easy things that are standard in the industry, yeah, OEE calculation, yeah, use cases, on-board traceability, yeah. These are all use cases that you can set up when you have the correct starting point: data modeling, infrastructure, connectivity, yeah. And then you can go step by step and evolve, yeah, to this North Star, let's say, to the software-defined manufacturing. And this is also, I think, it's a necessary understanding that our customers need, yeah. That it is a journey.
So, I mean, I like it. It's very, very concrete. And maybe if we stay for a second with V4 Smart. So, you said basically we started that together, yeah. MHP first already supporting customers with the mapping, right? And then basically the plan for the whole infrastructure and the ramp up of the productions, right? So I suppose onboarding machines, right? Setting up the data model, as you said, the use case and so on, right? Basically the whole hybrid infrastructure between connectware, right? And the cloud hyperscalers, for all the use cases. Who made in those projects? Who made the architectural decisions? Were they made by you then, or were they like the architectures?
We had design principles, for instance, cloud only, then it was a decision to use the SAP as ERP system and also MES system, and then we have to define which data was exchanged between the machines and the systems, and we have also to define the whole process, to define the process steps, generalize them, and then make it configurable inside the machines, inside the middleware. We are using here the Cybus solution on this side, and also in the MES system, to develop the digital process twin in the MES system, and also in the cloud, in the AWS cloud, the digital data twin of the products, and also of the machines.
Very interesting. Thanks for making it so clear. I have directly a follow-up question. So, no, this is touching upon very different fields, right? From the shop floor to creating the data model and so on. How did you guys? How was the organizational setup? So, how did you work together? Veit, maybe you can start. How did you perceive the project setup?
The project setup, actually, I think, to be honest, in fact, V4Smart was a very special project for me, because I never experienced a customer or a client is working that quick together with MHP on a project, in fact, because even if MHP was able to just design the whole architecture together with V4Smart, actually, we're not talking about a greenfield project. Actually, we're talking about a factory, a plant already exists, already producing. So actually, it was fascinating to see, in fact, how quick they adjusted, how quick changes was made. So like what Ronny said, the initial architecture and everything was set up together with MHP and V4Smart. And but we supported them. We're having like a ramp up time. So actually, is from our side, in fact, our customer success engineers work very close, like in most projects, together with the engineers from MHP. Have a little bit like sparring, and but to be honest, in the communication with the customer, in directly communication with the customer, we entered a little bit after that. In fact, when it's just come to more precise and having more questions regarding the architecture and facing some issues or something like this, when it's come to buffering, when it's come to on point, when the data load was more high or something like this. So we were involved more, but the beginning, in fact, MHP, I think they nearly handle with the customer the initial setup by themselves, based on the huge experience what they gather, I think, in the last 4 years, 5 years or something like this, working with Connectware.
So I think the good thing was that for us, also for the project, was that the V4Smart is a mid-sized company, and so we had a lot of freedom, and also the trust from the customer, to set up the architecture, and to be trusted, from the customer. And this is also a really important point, because we have the experience, we for leading such projects on the one hand side, on the other hand side, also the technical experience, and this makes it great to set up such projects, and the result you see now.
I just want to add one thing, because I think it's very important, in fact, what Ronny said, especially the trust and working together with a customer is very important. But also, in fact, I think that the customer is not only trust both of us, also the customer in fact knows about our capabilities and also the responsibilities, because in fact this is very important for me to add here at this point, because in a lot of projects I managed, in fact one of the most difficult part was that a lot of people, they see the integration partner as an integration partner, as setting up everything, but in fact a lot of people see us first just as a software manufacturer or something like this, just like a distributor of software. So after they just realize, when we just begin, especially I, the customer success managers, just reach out and we just have more conversation with them. We bring in our team, we just having exchange also on the technical part with them, and not just with the integration partner. They somehow see the value, in fact, what we can bring in. And in fact, I think it's just important that the customer also just take our advice or just take our best practice, all this kind of stuff, in fact, because we know what we are doing. So actually, it's very beneficial, in fact, for the whole project, if not just the partner and we working close together, also with the client on the site, in fact, because after a while, everybody is quite happy for this. So
partnership is there. Our partnership is, from my side, there a really important thing. Partnership between the customers and also the suppliers to work together, not only to get the solution, to see the vision, the goal, where I want to go, and at the end, all person are on the top of the mountain, and then we can reach this goal. And there at V4 Smart, there was really a partnership that was established between the different parties.
I like this. So you basically say best practice would be there to always be sure that all parties are on board, right? Having joint meetings, joint steer calls, right? Because I mean, I get it. It's not Microsoft Office, right? You set up something which is like standardized by for 20 or 30 years and more, but it's as well. I just read the timeline was like 10 months, right, for the whole ramp up. So it's probably quite challenging as well then with all the data models and the whole setup which you want to do. So so I assume you want to have basically all the expertise you can get, right?
Absolutely. The different streams work close together and so on, and it was really challenging but a really good project at the end.
Yeah, maybe one last question there. Veit, you mentioned as well, the trust was so essential there. What would you say? How was it built? Did you do any specific activities and so on? Because it sounded like in the beginning, right? We were more perceived like just the only vendor. Here's the software, and there you go. Yeah. How did you perceive that?
Actually, like I think everybody just having his own way dealing with this kind of stuff. I think you know me. I think most of the people in this meeting maybe also know me. I'm more on the private side, in fact. So in fact, from at the beginning with MHP is never issue or something like this, because we work close together. So in fact, we have internal calls, external calls, whatever. Frequently, we just exchange like everything. But when it comes to the customer part, actually at the beginning, like what I said, he just noted us as a software distributor, as a software company. So in fact, I just reached out. I just introduced myself several times and then just set up a meeting, and then we just chat a little bit, discuss a little bit the project. And also for me, it was important, in fact, to just also to not just offer some stuff, but to show, in fact, the value, what we can bring in, or what's the difference, in fact, of working also close together with us. Because, of course, if there's any issue, he can also escalate to MHP. They can directly just help or assist or something like this. But working close together with us, in fact, we can also directly from the beginning on having an open eye, just checking the stuff. I think it's nice because now just having also the trust on this side, in fact, if there's any issue or any question or something like this, they directly reach out. They just address me, so I can just internally discuss with our engineering or with our customer success team. So
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think everyone who knows you knows it's like it's easy to
Normally we go there, actually, private meet the person, but actually there was no time. I missed my chance because last time I was in Dresden visiting MHP. Ronnie offered me a ride from Dresden to Nördlingen with his car, but my flight was scheduled, so I declined. I'm sorry for that, Ronnie.
maybe
Next time we do.
But normally we like to visit customer and just having a personal meeting, because I think this is very important. We all know
agree.
you can work on a professional level, but if you meet person one time, in fact, in person,
Agree.
it's just a game changer.
Right. What I would like to do is take a couple of minutes as well and dive into the tech stack, Ronnie, if that's fine with you. Yeah. Because yeah, maybe you can walk us quickly about the software stack, a tech stack which we used at V4 Smart, but as well if in comparison to the other projects which we used. I know that some of those were very similar built. Yeah. So can you just quickly walk us through the stack, especially then as well, where lived what, right? Where were the data models built and so on?
Yes. The tech stack, perhaps from the machine to the cloud. Yeah, machine and the middleware, the Cybus. Yeah, we are using the OPC UA interface. Yeah, from the Cybus to the MES system and to the data lake. We are using on the one hand side in Kafka interface to the data lake, on the other hand side RESTful communication to the MES. Yeah, and the data models, where do they live? They live on the one hand side for the process, as I said before, in the SubDM, for instance. Yeah, and on the other hand side, in our lakehouse that we also built up at V4 Smart, yeah, with the metal architecture, yeah, bronze, silver, and gold architecture, yeah, and so we had a chance to have the traceability on the one hand side for the product, yeah. We have the machine data in the data lake, and all process data that is needed, yeah, the recipes and so on, for the machines in the SAP in the MES system, SubDM, what they can do best. Yeah. Answers this your question?
It does. It does. Thanks. One follow-up question. So, and the digital twin, how was it used then?
Yeah, first of all, for making end-to-end a transparency, for instance, where are my products? This was the first problem was solved, having an overview. Yeah, it's a simple thing, but this was the one first necessary thing that we set up. Yeah, and now we are going step by step forward, making analysis, yeah, regarding the quality data and so on. Yeah, adding next systems also to the ecosystem, yeah, because of our open and decoupled structure, it is not that much with a high effort, yeah, and so it is really easy to add new machines like we did do it now for the electrode assembly, for instance, right now before not. Yes.
If you say very easy, how long does it take?
Perhaps we have an estimation, it saves round about, let's say, 50 to 80% of, and if you do it point to point effort, if you have the same approach for connecting the machines. Yeah. If you have older interfaces, perhaps it lasts a little bit longer. Yeah. But at the end, it saves this amount of time. Because you have to see how many data points you have out of the machine and so on. This differs a little bit.
Yeah, perfect. Understood. Thank you very much for walking us through this. Were there, maybe last question there, were there any architectural decisions in this customer project as well and others in general, which you would say, okay, I wouldn't do it the same way again?
Yeah. Right now, there were good decisions. It depends a little bit also on the connections on-prem to the cloud. Yeah, in Germany, as bad as our connectivity and so on is, yeah, we have a good connectivity and also stable connections, yeah, regarding accessing cloud and data centers and so on. Perhaps also a little bit more an hybrid approach could be a good way to deal with that architectures from my perspective. Yeah.
Okay, I have one question from the audience, which matches very well here what we're just discussing, which was, what was the most painful thing? What would you do differently, if there's anything?
It was a really, let's say, challenging and also intensive time. Yeah. Perhaps I want to give us also for the team a little bit more time to have it, but there was a deadline, yeah, where we have to deliver it. This is one thing, yeah. To think perhaps also about twice, is it the best way, or have we to do a kind of refinement, yeah. But at the end, the decisions for this setup were good decisions, I think.
Okay, fair enough. Then maybe taking a look on the time. Also, I would like to invite anyone else, if you have any questions, right, type it into the chat box. So I will moderate them in. I have like one other question here. I know that in that customer project specifically, the customer decided to make a buy decision, right, specifically for the data layer. They didn't want to build something on their own. Can you say basically from your understanding, yeah, Ronnie, but as well, Veit, why did those companies you worked with decided to buy a data layer and not build one on their own, which we see sometimes as well, right, with other customers, what they do?
I think on the one hand side, it depends a little bit on the size of the company, yeah, and how many expertise they have and what they want to do with the data, yeah. In former times, I heard data is the new oil, yeah, let's say, because these are things you can do many things with your data, yeah. On this side,
I think it's for my side, actually, because I'm not the technical guy like Ronnie. I'm more like the business administration guy from my background. So actually, for me, it's just like a typical make or buy decision. So in fact, like what Ronnie said, if you must balance the decision, in fact, based on whether you have the capabilities. So in fact, like what Ronnie said, smaller companies, even smaller enterprises, they not have the capability, they not have the expertise to just develop this. But I would also say, if companies have the expertise to develop some software like this or building up by themselves, they are also well aware of the effort which comes with the maintaining for this kind of stuff. So actually, if there is any change, is not based on the connectivity, but if there's any changing procedure, having a new ERP system, new MES system or whatever, somehow they need to adjust the stuff, because if you build up a solution, in fact, it's based on the situation, the status quo, what you now have. Actually, you should just build connectivity. But in fact, there is just the advantage for buying the stuff. So in fact, if you go, for example, with Connectware, we're just taking care for all the protocols, for just having the standardized way of communication. So in fact, if there is a new standard, if there's a new protocol, of course, we already implemented. If there is something you need, maybe custom connector or something like this, we take care. So in fact, big companies, even if they have the capabilities, they're well aware of the situation. So it's most time easier to just buy it, because otherwise it would be painful, especially if they need to change.
Perhaps also the complexity of your production processes. If you have really easy processes, yeah, similar machines and so on, then perhaps you can buy it. Everyone else, perhaps you have to do it by your own, because you are more individual. Yeah.
I mean, vice versa, right? If it's very, very easy processes and all types of machine, then you can make it by your own maybe, because you don't have this complexity. And also I would add to this complexity thing, not only complex in terms of machines, but as well like network segmentations, what we see, right, in the customer projects, right, security, basically demands which we see, then as well what about the data demand, like we see sometimes like the more teams there are which need the data, right, the more you have to put in like a solution which is capable of like dealing with that, right, at scale. So the more I would say the more mature such a solution needs to be, right, to deal with higher data throughput and so on. I have another question here from the audience. So the question is, what are the most pressing problems that the companies you are currently working with are facing when it comes to starting the software-defined manufacturing transformation?
I think it's a change of minds, how to work, how to deal with data, how to work together between OT, operations technology, the shop floor IT, and the IT, and also the different departments. This is, I think, a lot of things. And so also from MHP side, we are having connections to each department and bring them together, talk together, and to have a good solution for all, and an overall solution.
I can just agree. The problem is just you're dealing with so many stakeholders. Actually, if you're just beginning with a new digitalization, with a transformation, and then in fact we just reaching sometimes our limitation here, I think, on MHP side, but also on our side, because we try in fact to support the customer based on, I think you can frame it already as a change management, because you have people, in fact, they just have done it like 20 or 30 years like this before. So it's difficult to just convince them why now everything need to change, why it just would make more sense to have maybe AI-based parameterization of the machines or something like this with the data. So in fact, to just show the value for everybody, in fact, somehow is sometimes difficult. But I think we found a good way or good solution together with MHP to just also helping customer on this side. But you always having this kind of, I think it's called like Reaktanz in German. I am not sure what the English word for this. So in fact, people, they just have done it like this before. So it's difficult to convince them to try something new. The IT guys or OT guys, they're well aware of the situation, in fact, what will be the improvement, but then there are some people, in fact, they not see any value for them. So I would not say they're blocking it, but they see no need. And then on the other side, you have like the board or the leading person making the decision in the end, because it's not IT or OT, in fact, just giving their okay or their agreement on some decision. It just the people about them. So in fact, depend on the technical understanding, but just can see more far in the future than the next 2 or 3 months, more like the next 1 or 2 years, what will be the impact. I think this is very, very difficult.
Well, then from my side, I have only one question maybe. So to conclude, because like I think like 5 last minutes, also I invite everyone who has like still a question, please throw it in. So in 5 years from now, so is it to 2030, 2031, is there anything you would say companies would regret if they haven't like started or standardized it by now?
I think, to be honest, there is nearly no way to escape within the 5 years, because we have so many also as government regulations or something like this. I think running out best, especially traceability. Traceability was a thing, in fact, like already 10, 20 years ago, it's necessary. But now, in fact, especially for production, for sensitive part, like battery production or something like this, is need to be there for a lot of parts. In fact, I think regarding the regulations or something like this, there's not really any way you just drive away from this topic, because you need to standardize everything. You need to have the digital twin, in fact, becoming more and more important. So in fact, if you now not begin taking care for this kind of stuff, it would be painful over the next years.
I fully agree in this fight. So to add it, we need the data from regulation side, from governance side, and so on, and also for being more efficient, yeah, in the production, yeah, being faster on changes, and so there is no way around it. Follow the journey to the North Star, let's say.
Well said. I have one last question here from the audience. Which is a question regarding the Cybus architecture in the factory network. Do you have pre-validated vendors for the production servers, edge devices, switches, and so on? Veit, maybe you can try to tackle that. I know you're more from the business side, but yeah.
Actually, I cannot really answer this question. Now it's a little bit awkward because I know we're working together with some companies. In fact, they're already building in the connectivity by Connectware. I'm not sure I can name them here as well, so I will not do. But there are some companies, in fact, building machines. They're already just having a cooperation with us and the connectivity by Connectware. But I would say I'm not sure there are any pre-validated vendors beside this or servers. I think every customer, maybe Ronnie, you also can help me on this. I think when it's come to hardware, in fact, the clients normally are free to use whatever they like because I see what they are shopping. Some just having already hardware, some just ordering a lot of new servers from companies like Bechtle or something like this, or from Cisco. Platform different. In fact, there is, I think, not even one project having the same server platform like the other. Even the Kubernetes version is different. So
I think the more you come into the OT environment, the green gray boxes will take the lead. Yeah, from also a partner, I can name it. I think Siemens, for instance. Yeah, and also yeah, edge devices also. The red ones are also available. But as Veit said it, at the end, the customer makes the decision. We only defining the hardware requirements, how many cores, CPU, and so on, what's necessary, and then the customer's free at the end.
Perfect. Then from my side, I would say it's right on time. Thank you very much, Ronnie and Veit, for taking the time away from the project. But really enjoyed the exchange. And also thank you very much, everyone, for the questions and for the time. You as well have the session afterwards on demand available if you like to need it or share it. Yeah. Also, you have the ability, if you like, to connect with Ronnie or Veit on LinkedIn. If you have any other questions, yeah, they are the experts. So I'm sure they will answer all the questions you have. So Veit, Ronnie, thank you very much for taking the time and having the discussion.
Thank you, Danny.
Thank you very much.
Veit, it was a pleasure. Seeing you later.
Of course, I always see you later. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.